Welcome, everybody. We're so thankful that you all decided to join us today for this month's Transition Tuesday, Supported Decision Making. Excuse me. Um, I wanted to take just a moment to let you know, first of all, that unfortunately Laura Butler with HDI, due to a scheduling conflict, couldn't be with us today, but we're so thrilled. Myself, Nick, and Davis, that'll introduce themselves in just a moment, are going to step through and talk about supported decision making with you. And Laura will join us in the near future to also discuss that as well. So that won't be a missed opportunity. So in the future, we'll get that scheduled. Just to tell you a little bit, first of all, if you'll see in the chat, and there is closed captioning available, you can click the closed captioning button at the bottom of your the menu on the Zoom, or you can access that through the link for the live closed captioning. So one of the things that that I want to share, first of all, is that I am a sister. Three of my siblings have disabilities from the seen to the unseen. They all three had IEPs in school. I'm the proud foster adopted mom to the greatest gift of my life. He's 19. It keeps me on my toes. And also, I am OCD and do also have anxiety and struggle with depression. One of the things, too, that at Kentucky SPIN, we're all individuals with disabilities and or immediate family members helping one another. And we're so thankful that we can all get together and talk today about a topic that's very dear to my heart. So I want to take just a moment. If Nick, you could introduce yourself, and we'll then go to David.
Hi, I'm Nick Carpenter with Kentucky SPIN. I'm Kentucky SPIN's youth educator. A little bit about myself for those who haven't tuned into Transition Tuesday before. I am 26 years old. I forget my age sometimes. I'm 26 years old, I'm pretty sure. And I've had an autism diagnosis all of my conscious life. And I've used a lot of my experiences growing up with autism, and all the supports I've gotten. I've used my experiences and my training to kind of help other youth that are now transitioning into adults, to help them develop the skills that they need to be successful in their adult life, that they might not be getting trained on otherwise. I'll now hand it over to Davis.
Hello, I am Davis Rodriguez. I am the transition age parent educator, and I am 35, father of four, three which are special needs. I also have ADHD and ODD, and just a slight, in my older age, developed OCD um, with certain things in my life. And yeah, I'm looking forward to presenting and moving forward.
Okay, Davis, you're in good company with the OCD. I'll just tell you. And another thing to check out, if you all have it, Nick also does every month a youth talk on different topics. And last month was on IEP, and this month it'll be released here soon, is talking about the supported decision making. So look for that coming across through our social media and on our website as well. So let's jump into supported decision making. But let me first tell you a little bit about Kentucky SPIN if you're not as familiar with us. We, like I said, are all individuals with disabilities and or immediate family members or parents of persons with disabilities helping one another. One of the things I think is really important to share with you is because we do so much through peer support, through training, one-on-one assistance, but it's much easier to tell you what we don't do. We do not represent individuals in meetings as advocates, provide legal or financial advice, or act as a legal representative. But a lot of things that we do, because as you know, we all are figuring life out together, right? So there are so many different things that come up that we help one another with. But always reach out at any time if we could assist. And if we're not the right people, we'll try to connect you with who is. So I would love if we could use the chat box because I want this to be very interactive. So use the chat box to answer this. Has anyone ever helped you make a decision? And if you could share maybe how, if they did, what's one of the ways that they helped you? This could be as simple as deciding which restaurant to eat at. So let's see here. And Nick, you'll have to help me because I'm trying to with the screens and everything. As we see stuff come across, it could be anything. I had someone give me my options. Yes. My family makes a lot of decisions together, like where we want to go on vacation. Kelly, all the time, all in caps. I love that. My mechanic helps me know how to fix my car. Yes, ain't nothing like a good mechanic, I tell you. So we all need help at different times, right? And it could be from small things to big things. And if there's others that you all think of, please feel free to use the chat. So when we do that, I always want to use the example of in my house. First of all, I use the example of picking what restaurant to eat. Does anyone else ever have times where nobody can decide on anything, but everybody knows what they don't want? Can anyone else relate to that? So I always like to share the example. My son, who's 19, I shared about dinner every night. Yes. So I'm glad I'm not alone here. It is a constant thing that we go through. My brother and my son and I'm like, what do you all want to eat? Because after a long day of work, I'm like, I've made so many decisions. I want someone to decide for me. Just tell me, I will go get it. I will do it. I just need somebody to make the decision for me, right? But it's never that simple, right? And so what we do is they're like, my son will always say, well, what is there? I'm like, oh my gosh, well, they're the same things that was yesterday. And so I'll go down through options. So of course, it's like a circus around here, but we'll go down through options and he knows what he doesn't want, right? So that helps eliminate things. And so then we finally narrow it down to one, and then we can move on from there. So our lives are full of those types of decisions. But if anybody's found a good secret when it comes to picking restaurants and what works really quickly, let me know. But there's sometimes that we appreciate somebody making a decision, but there's other times where we just need more information. We need to know what all there is. What options do I even have? My son has a decision wheel app on his phone we use for food a lot. Oh my gosh, Julie, thank you so much. I need that app. So I definitely need to get that. You'll have to share with us what the name of the app is in the chat because I need all the help I can get over here. So now, when, excuse me, I'm so very sorry. My allergies are a hot mess. So when we talk about supported decision making, it's someone assisting you in making the decision. And so that you can make an informed decision. They don't make the decision for you. Now, why do we think that this is so important? Because we want everybody to have the opportunity to make their own decision and have the resources and the information to do so. So let's take just a moment here to learn a little bit more about that. And then after the video, we'll talk a little more in depth about it.
Hi. Do you ever wonder how you will be able to make all the big decisions in your life after
Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Okay. Did the audio stop on you all?
For you
Yes.
Okay. This is why you all don't put Rhonda. This is why we need my son running things. Why you don't put Rhonda in charge of the electronics. Let's give it a try again.
Hi. Do you ever wonder how you will be able to make all the big decisions in your life after you turn 18? Join me today as we explore supported decision making as an option to increase your future independence. Supported decision making, or you may see the acronym SDM, is an approach that allows individuals with disabilities to make choices about their own lives with support from a team of people they choose. Instead of having a guardian make decisions for them, individuals under SDM select people they know and trust to be part of a support network or group to help with their decision making. This approach can improve the self-determination, independence, and dignity for individuals with disabilities because they have the ability to rely on themselves for their decision making and choices. In supported decision making, individuals with disabilities will ask for the support of family members, friends, or other trusted individuals to help them make or communicate decisions. These supporters help the person with a disability in gathering information, researching and understanding options, and making informed decisions that are right for the individual with a disability. The level of support can vary depending on the individual's needs and preferences, and the support network can be flexible and change over time. The people involved in supported decision-making are selected by the individual with a disability. They can be family members, friends, coworkers, or past or present providers who know and respect the individual's will and preferences. There are many different ways to identify and select the right supporters. However, the most important thing is that everyone knows that the supporters are there to answer questions, review options, and help the person with a disability make their own decisions, not make the decisions for them. Supported decision-making is recognized in the state of Kentucky. In fact, allowing individuals with disabilities to live their lives with the least restrictions as possible is the goal. However, unlike many other states, Kentucky still does not have any enacted legislation at present. Legislation is not required to use supported decision-making. Anyone can still create the team and form the plan that is best suited for their individual needs. Supporting the rights and dignity of individuals with disabilities is gaining more momentum every day, and the legislation will catch up. Besides supported decision-making, other options for individuals with disabilities include guardianship and conservatorship. However, guardianship and conservatorship involve someone else making decisions for the person with a disability, which can limit their independence. It is also possible to use power of attorney for financial and healthcare needs. A power of attorney is a legal document where you grant someone the authority to act on your behalf. Whatever you decide to do, it is important to consider the individual's specific needs and circumstances when exploring the different options. Deciding if supported decision-making is right for you involves considering your own preferences, needs, and goals. It may be helpful to discuss your options with trusted individuals, such as family members, friends, or professionals who can provide guidance and support. Using resources like this workbook from the ACLU to determine exactly how much support and assistance you will need is a necessary first step. Ultimately, the choice of whether to pursue supported decision-making is a personal one that should work with your values and aspirations for self-determination and independence. But do not make this decision lightly. Talk to the same trusted family members and friends before you make the decision. There are several resources available in Kentucky that can help you determine if supported decision-making is the right choice for you. Thank you for watching today. If you want to learn more about supported decision-making or would like information about other Kentucky resources, please contact us. We are here to help. Hi. Hi.
Okay, so I may not have made the right decision being the one to operate things on this end with the video. But I would like to point out it's a great example of sometimes when you do make the decisions, they may not go as you planned, right? But that doesn't mean you still can't work through it, right? We got through it with the video. One of the things too that I'd love to talk about for a little bit that I think is very important is making sure that the individuals who support you, the manner in which they support you. It's really important that we discuss that. But let me go back for just a moment. In the very beginning, when we asked for you to share in the chat, has anyone ever helped you make a decision? So there's more informal ways, as the example I gave about my family when we make decisions on what restaurant to go to, as compared to in the video, supported decision making may be used for a more formal alternative versus guardianship or conservatorship. And understand too, though, if you do have a guardian or there's a conservator, you still can have opportunities for the supported decision making. And you know, it isn't a one or nothing, right? So I want to make sure everybody kind of understands that, because empowering one another to make our own decisions and make sure that we have the resources to do so is what's really important. One of the things that I would love to talk about now is how should the individuals help you? What should you expect from individuals who are assisting you with supported decision making? Well, they should act in your best interest, treat you with respect and dignity, uphold your civil and constitutional or personal rights. And what that means is the rights you're guaranteed by the government action or legislation, your civil rights is a really good example. Honor your right to privacy and confidentiality. Use a person you-centered approach. What that means is staying focused on your wants, needs, and choices. It centers around you. You are the most important person, and they are there to support you. Make the most of your decision-making opportunities. One of the things I'll go back to, and I'll probably use this example way too much back to the restaurant thing. Many times we spend a lot of time talking about it as a family. Yes, it would be easy if one person just come in and told us what we're all eating, right? But we're all adults and we all want to have a say in it. So we make sure that everybody has a voice in it. So those things are important, that the individuals, that you have those options. Provide you access to information that'll help you understand your options, benefits, or risks. One of the things, the example that I gave is about going through the list of when my son says, well, what is there? My first response always is, well, there's the same thing, like I said earlier, there was yesterday. But then, you know, we kind of joke with one another, but then we go down through the list. Use least restrictive practices. And what this means is that you allow a person to have as many opportunities to make the decision for themselves and not limit you because you have a disability, right? So we're not putting restrictions on you because you have the disability. Encourage you with your independence, self-determination, self-advocacy, and well-being. Respect your right to relationship, personal preferences, cultural, ethical, religious practices, and values. Many times we don't, I think it's so important to cover those things because many times I see there's not a concentration on what the person's role is and the manner and what we should expect in someone that is helping us make those decisions. So one of the things I always also like to point out when I'm talking about this, my son and my brother helped me with a lot of things. And my brother Grant is really good about in the manner that he talks or explains when we're figuring out things, that he's very respectful. That he's like, well, you might want to think about this. And the great thing about that and with supported decision making is everybody brings different knowledge to the table. They have different experiences that they've had. And, it may be something they've tried before. They may know some tricks or some ideas that might help it work better for you. So keep those things in mind as you kind of go through the process. So what do we need to do? So if you need help, first you decide, do you need help making decisions, whether it be on an informal or more of a formal basis, by identifying the needs that you have, identify your supporters, identify your resources, and make a plan. We're going to step through each one of these areas a little more in detail and kind of talk about together maybe some ideas or things that can help you in deciding if you need supported decision making, but also then who could be there to support you. So this is another great resource, just like we'll shared on the video of a checklist. Sometimes it helps me to be able to see it broken down, because when we're looking at transition to adulthood, there are so many decisions that once were your parents, but now are going to be yours, right? When you turn 18, so there's a lot of decisions that you're going to have to make. It could be, so stepping through identifying areas of need. Do you need help making financial decisions? Do you need help making self-care, medical, or living decisions? Those are the type of things. And this wonderful resource through Charting the Life course sets you kind of through some main key areas of daily living. Now, I forgot to mention in the beginning, though, that the PowerPoint has been shared in the chat, and we'll also follow up with an email after the training. These links, you can click on these from the handout and access these. I always like having examples. There may be some other areas you need to add to it, but this will kind of help you see what areas, so you can simply go, all right, well, making budgeting decision with my finances. Can I decide with no extra support? Do I need some help making the decision, or do I need someone to make the decision for me? Those are going to kind of help you kind of know the supports you're going to need before you go on to the next step. I would love if Nick and Davis, if you all could sort of share an example of areas that maybe you have had help. I kind of shared about my family. Share some areas maybe that you've needed help with.
I feel like the important thing with supported decision making is especially as a youth, is there's a lot of stuff that you as a youth right now are capable of doing that you know how to do. But like once you become an adult, there's a lot of adult decisions that get thrust on you, especially once you turn 18. There's a lot of like adult decisions that get kind of pushed on you, that you will want to get support when making those decisions. Just because it's just a lack of knowledge. It's just stuff that you haven't had to do yet, so you're not prepared to make some of these big decisions. Like me, for example, when I started working, like after high school, and I actually started working a full-time job, and because when you turn 18, you don't have access to like your parents' insurance anymore. And a lot of that funding and stuff kind of changes. When I started working a full-time job after school, I had to get my own insurance. And insurance, there's a lot of steps to it, especially like when they offer it to you and they have all these different like insurance plans and all these extra benefits that you can sign up for, and this and that, and how much it costs out of your paycheck and all this. And that's a lot of information that you're just not prepared to do. So me, like I would for like insurance, I would get my dad to help me, because my dad, again, he's like about twice my age. He's like over twice my age. He's been doing that stuff for as long as I've been alive. So being able to go to someone like that and be like, hey, like there's this adult decision that I need help making, and you're an adult who's been doing this for a long time. Like, I need you to help me like figure this out. And that's what he does. And he still helps me out. Like I said, like I'm 26, I'm almost 27 years old, and I still have him and like my mom help me with those adult decisions, because they have so much more experience dealing with those than I do.
Well said. Me, as I become a young adult, it was very much different. I was primarily raised by my grandparents. My grandpa owned two businesses, so I was kind of thrown into being an adult young, and then kind of had to figure a lot of it out by myself. When I got older, I did eventually meet someone who had more of a handle on things and taught me some stuff. But it wasn't like that for me when I first started out as my young 20s and stuff. I made a lot of mistakes because I just didn't know. I didn't know any better. Like credit cards, no idea. Didn't know that they were, after you swipe that card, it would accumulate. When you swipe your bank card, there used to be a delay. A lot of times banks, you can see that almost immediately. When I was younger, it didn't. There was a couple, sometimes a couple hours, sometimes it could be a couple days before you realize it actually come out your bank. So, for me, it was a very hard learning curve. And then once I got someone I could trust, I just attached to that person, and I still talk to him regularly. It's actually my uncle. And call him every so often, like, hey, what do you think about this? And before I bought property last 4 years back, I talked to him about it and stuff. And my father-in-law talked to him quite a bit about stuff. So main thing is just what I'm trying to say is find that person that you can trust that to give you that reliable information when you need it.
Another example too right now, especially for those of you that are like the junior or senior grade in high school, is you might not realize it now, but you're already being helped with making decisions because you're planning out your life after high school. You're trying to figure out if you're going to go to college, or if you're going to go straight to the workforce, or whatever it is you're going to do after high school. Like, you're trying to figure it out now. And I would assume and I would hope that your teachers are helping you with those decisions right now. And that's a big decision that you're working on and developing.
I'm so glad that you all shared that, and that Nick, that you brought that up, because that's another area here a little bit more we're going to talk about and share with you all about how you already have opportunities for the supported decision making and with your IEP and transition planning in school. So one of the things too, identifying your supporters, family, friends, teachers, it could be anyone that, just like Davis just shared, someone who is trusted that you can get reliable information from. Davis used the example of his uncle and his his wife's dad. I just lost what that is. So, also Nick shared that his dad and his mom helped him a lot. There are different people. My brother and my son helped me. One of the things, my son, I was making things very complicated, and he just kind of walked in. It was something silly I was making so complicated, and he just showed me a simple, easy way. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have been standing here forever. So those people that compliment you, right? We don't want someone just like us because that means that they may not have those skills that help balance us out, right? So it's good to have people that you can relate to and have a lot of similarities, but having that different experience to share is going to be great value to our lives and our decision making. So what are some of the things when we're identifying, resources? One of the examples is, what resources do you have in your community? But also Kentucky SPIN is a resource for you. your IEP, individualized education program, your ARC team, the admissions, you may call it the ARC, ARC, or your IEP team in school. Those are supporters. Those are resources to you. Also looking at, we can help you with informational resources, so one-on-one support, training. When we look at sort of in your IEP, people are already helping you, and like Nick brought up about making those decisions. It is a great place and a safe place to practice your decision-making skills is in your IEP meeting. And planning ahead for that and building in, because once you turn 14 or in 8th grade, you'll start having a transition plan in your IEP. That is a wonderful place to build some transition goals on decision making. And we have some example ones there where you can not only in your meeting use supported decision making, but also in part of your transition plan, build those skills and have those goals also incorporated. One of the things that I think is very helpful is, when you're stepping through the IEP, having someone even preparing, helping you with some supported decision making before you go into your IEP meeting. This could be your teacher, this could be your parent, someone so that you're kind of prepared to go into the meeting and have all the information you need to make those decisions. There are some other, just like was shared on the video, some wonderful here in Kentucky resources as well as other national resources that you can access that will help you on your journey. And these are just a few. There's wonderful providers and organizations that have tools that you can use that will help you. So when we're going to make a plan, let's step through this one here. Well, and let's take just a moment here. Totally the chair in the chat. I totally rely on my true friends that will be honest with me. I don't really want my family. I don't really want my family in my business. Laughing out loud. Okay, yes. And that too, I'm glad you brought up that point, because sometimes there are things that I want certain people to help me with, right? Not just based on because they have great experience or, and I know that they could help me a great deal with that. It may be my personal preference as well. Another here, Eileen shared, I wasn't able to talk to my parents about some of those decisions because I was embarrassed. So I had a coach or a mentor that helped me. I try to let my kids know that it may not be me, but it may need to be someone they trust. It may not be mom or dad, but we have built trusted adults that they can go to if they feel comfortable if they feel uncomfortable coming to us. Yes, that is so important, because one of the things that I'm so thankful that you all shared there is that whoever the person feels comfortable with, and it is a trusted person, because too, we also have to make sure, think back to the example of the people who are helping us with supported decision making, they're always supposed to be acting in their best interest. So as long as all of those things that we talked about, sort of the role and how the person's supposed to help you are in line, then whoever you feel comfortable going to, it doesn't matter. And I too, Eileen, feel the same. I'm not the one that my son's always going to want to go to, or that my brother's always going to want to go to. And whoever that they go to, I just want them to be someone that they can trust and they're comfortable with. So let's go through and use an example here. This worksheet that you can access is a tool that might be, if you need to break things down. So you could do this on this shows what decisions do we need to make this week. Well, an example I had is I need to decide what bills I need to pay this week. So what would be the information that I have to help me decide? Well, I know my electric bill and my water bill are both due soon. I know how much money I have this week and how much money I need for groceries. So let's step through this a little further. Who can I ask for advice? Well, my brother, Grant, he's really good with budgeting and helping me sort of figure out what to pay first. So I may have Grant help me to decide and figure out what maybe some of the immediate effects of my decision could be. So if we're setting and we're going through it, in my electric and water bill, my electric and water could be turned off if I don't pay them on time. If I'm late, I could get extra fees applied to it if they're not paid on time. Can you all think of and use the chat? What might be some other immediate effects that could result in this decision that I have to make that you all can think of? My brother Grant also does like to remind me, I'll have to tell you all, he does like to remind me that the water company doesn't play around. So if you are late, they cut that water off very quickly. And so we always try to, first of all, pay our bills on time, but also too, we all make, and we realize that we may not always have the money we need where we can pay it as soon as it comes in. Well, one of the things too that many times we don't think about is when I'm making this decision, I thought about, all right, my electric and my gas, my electric and water and groceries, because these are basic needs, right? Okay, but let me throw this out there at you. My car broke down and I'm going to have to pay $100 to have it fixed. And I can't go to work to make money if I don't get that fixed. And it just broke down this week. So there could be some immediate effects if something that we didn't even know about could affect it, right? So sometimes making decisions, and when we're looking at it, is looking at what possibilities could play a role in that. So when we look then next at future effects on my decision, well, the future effects, if I pay everything this week, is what am I going to be able to afford my groceries? The late payment could affect my credit if there's something that I let wait. What was the due date on everything? So there are a lot of things that play a factor in, and a lot of times it's very helpful to have that support person that can help you to make those decisions through the supported decision making. Now, again, we can't always plan for everything that could possibly happen, but when we use tools that help us sort of through the process, it'll help us be able to prepare and make those decisions. Oh, Abby shares, so with her daughter's supported decision-making plan, she has a family friend that she talks to regularly about budgeting. So it's an ongoing situation that they work on. But if there is a question about an emergency fund issue over $50, she would contact both her original finance support person and her parent. I love that, and I love that you shared that. There's a backup plan, right? So we have thought about, well, what happens if this happens, right? So we've built that in. We may not have the cure-all, but we've built those supports in of the supporters, right? And that's a critical part of supported decision-making, is having those plans laid out. Thank you so much for sharing. What are Nick and Davis, because I know we're getting close on time, would you all like to share a little bit about how it has kind of helped you in making decisions and sort of developing a plan for yourself?
Um, well, let's see. Why not make a plan? I've made a schedule, so I have like a because I need support with transportation, with getting places. So I kind of myself like I have like a schedule, and I have like a kind of like a I don't know how to describe it, but I have like a I guess it's kind of a plan, but it's kind of like a I know it's like what days I do need transportation on, and also like a kind of like a oh shoot, I don't know the best way to describe this. But I need help with transportation. So I try to have like an idea because that's like a reoccurring thing. Whereas like something like insurance and getting help with that, that's something I might be like once every few years or whatever. Getting help with transportation is more of a regular occurrence. So I try to get like so I have a plan of like and a schedule of knowing what days I need transportation help with. So that way I can be prepared to make those arrangements.
Um, I am a sticky note fool. I have them everywhere. I have them on my desk. I got my notes, and when I'm writing something down and I got a plan, I sticky note it, and then I stick it somewhere I know I'm gonna see it, like on my fridge, back of my phone, on my wallet, my computer. Um, I keep some in my pocket when I'm going somewhere. So if I constantly we're having to jot something down, and then I just check my sticky notes. If I can't remember something, I check my sticky notes. Um, I'm never sure if it's an old wise tale or a story. I just remember hearing like younger is like you tie a string around your finger and then it's supposed to remind you of something. It's kind of like where the concept of the sticky notes come from. Um, so if it's not on a sticky note somewhere I'm gonna see it, it's probably not gonna happen. Um, or a lot of times I will if I it's in a hurry and I don't have like the text like to pull it out of my pocket and write if I'm driving, I will text myself. And I don't know if people knew that or not, but it's definitely an option. You can always text your own number and then just don't read that. And then you look down, like, oh, I have an unread message. And you click, like, oh, it's yourself. And it's a reminder what you need to do. So, and alarm clocks. I said a lot of alarms too.
Well, and I love those. That is how you all sort of adapted, and it may be, it may be decisions or things that you have to do that you all have built in what works for you. And that's the important thing about like supported decision making. It's going to look very different from person to person because what works for me is not necessarily, and maybe I could share some ideas with you, but it may not be what is works best for Davis or for Nick. And really having that and having people that are your supported decision making supporters, having them know and understand what works for you is really it's just as critical as them helping you to make a decision, right? Providing information because I don't know about you all, but having people help me when it's not the way that I do things doesn't help me. Like it can, especially with my OCD, it can like mess me up and put me in worse shape. Does that make sense? So really having that where you complement one another, I think will help a great deal. One thing I did want to share before, and Nick and Davis, I'm going to have y'all share a little bit, leave us with some thoughts here on supported decision making, but I wanted to show some additional resources that are available, just a few that you'll be able to click on about like self-advocacy, self-determination. These are all skills that help you in your decision making. So there are a lot of wonderful resources that are available that can help you. Let us know too if there's something that you want to share in the chat or have any questions. We have a lot of different opportunities coming up that we'll have a Social Security Disability Benefits webinar that Social Security Administration is providing that'll be very helpful, everything you need to know. So join us if you can. Next month, we will have guests from Kentucky Protection and Advocacy present on guardianship. So, Nick and Davis, could you all leave us with what is the one thing that you would love to share with others about supported decision making? That it could be what has helped you, what you would like everybody to know about it. My thing I'll say real quick is that supported decision making is in everybody's future. Everybody has the capability to make decisions if you have the right support, regardless of the disability. Any opportunity that we can support one another so that we make informed decisions, the better. So I'm going to hand it off. I don't know which one wants to go first to leave us with some thoughts.
I'll go first this time. For me, actually, I had many jobs over the years. But besides, I guess Kentucky's been doing what they do is they actually helped me become a better decision maker and got me the supports I needed, like to recognizing what I need. Like, hey, what do you need? And that's what I would say is when you and that being said, is for me, I'd say be open and honest about things you need to help you support your decisions. Um, sometimes I'll get a message like, hey, I need you to write this down. And I got a message from, Kelly or Amber or Ron or someone, and they're like, hey, write this down. Because they know Davis needs to write it down. And so that's what it is. Like if you're going into the workforce or if you're going to go into college and you have a college class, you just tell them like, hey, these are things I need. And sorry, he had surgery this morning, so he's not coming. He's just loopy. So that's what I would say is just be open and honest with the resources you need to help your support your decisions.
I think just to kind of keep it short and sweet, it's like the old saying, better safe than sorry. I feel like if like you're not sure about something or about a decision, then you just should just ask someone for that advice. Because like I keep mentioning, all those big adult decisions are not stuff that you even when it comes like going to college and stuff like that. That's stuff you don't want to just jump into those blindly. Like you should ask someone that you trust for advice on how to like proceed with that. That's just my thoughts on it.
I love it. Well, and you all let us know. Please join us next month and let us know how we can support you all. We're grateful that you all joined us. Please take a moment to fill out the evaluation. We value that input, and we're so grateful you all joined us. You have a great day now. Bye-bye.